Here it is. Looks like the same setup in East Palestine. They got a rusty Arab box from my work there. It looks like the roofs are leaking because they're sealing them. It's got antennas on both of them. One might be received, the other one might be transmit. I don't know. I'm not going to go in any of these. There's your dragging equipment units. Little grease fittings on the end, paddles and their switches on one side. That'll trigger flapping back one way or the other. They've been taken out. Holy crap. Oh, they got a new one in. They got a new one in over there. Okay. So they replaced them. And you can see that they've been hit. So these things are there for a reason. So those are dragging equipment. If something's hanging off the trains, those units pick it up. This is track 1 this side. Track 2 is the other side. And you can see on the other side, you've got 2 units inside the rail. And I don't see them on this side. Huh. They might be on the south rail here. You can see a connector over there with pounded in. You drill through the rail and then you pound those in. So that track's from 2014, so not too old. I don't know where it's from. I think U.S. Steel did a lot of the ones when I worked around. So they call that's a nickname of that connector with the blue paint's a chicken head. And that's pretty much a new dragging equipment detector. It's got new black paint. There's no dents, damages on either one from what I can see. And then we see the old ones behind me. The ones outside of the tracks are a little higher than the ones on the inside of the track. And where we buried everything, they're just sticking stuff out with track wires and putting them in heavy-duty industrial hoses. Yeah, I guess once we left, somebody said, "Hey, let's stop digging through the dam." So we had to put everything 3 feet under the rail. So this obvious thing's your Hotbox detector. And you got one on each side. It's got like a little screen on top. Those are the gray cables going into that box there. And that fitting on the one, wherever that's coming from, is loose or out. So there's your Hotbox detectors. Outside of the rail. I don't know how often electronic technicians come out and take a look at those. You can see the one on our side on the other rail, and then 2 units inside the rail over there. Oh, they are on this side. Huh. I don't see them on the other side of the rail. That might just be a counter or something for a square wheel detectors. Might just be a counter. This is what we're looking at here. And somebody's got the white paint stick on here. Yeah, I'm in the way here, my fat ass self. So I don't know if those are counters or for out around wheels. You figure if the wheels are out around, it would be one on each side. So it just might be axle counters. And that's the Hotbox. That's the heat unit right there. And this is the same track. I think, if everything was run on this track, we know it's this track in East Palestine. They could have been reversing on track 2, heading east, and then switched. That's CP line, which is Columbiana, and it's just east of Route 7 for the next interlocking. So, I noticed the rails were just ground over there in East Palestine off of Route 170. And that's kind of unusual in the winter. You just see grinding marks on this one too. See the little circular marks at the top? It gets mushroomed and smoothed over, and then they grind them. And sometimes that causes fires in the brush near the railroad. So this is it. And say these are the boxes. And I'll try to tune in with an old scanner. I've got the USB radio. I gotta see if it works. Don't know if they went digitized on their signals or like television did in the 90s either. Huh. Yeah, I thought they were further down. Maybe I was wrong. Like I said, I haven't paid attention to this stuff. I've been out of the loop for 26 years. So if those people are waiting for a fair shake on the railroad, give it a try. You might get a lawyer like I did. Once they pissed off my doctor, I got a lawyer on my neck injury, and later on, it's a good idea. And I puked for 11 years, over 11 years, and the bumpy road still gets me sick. So that's it. That's the unit, and I'm surprised if they have one in Sebring, because I don't know, that's not a whole lot far. It's not 20 miles. That they would just not do another one either side of Columbiana just for, just for safety. Just think of the money it would have saved to spend money to begin with. They're going to lose a shitload of money. Whoever made that decision it's going to cost them millions. Yeah, screw up the environment. Shoot, a lady reported her chickens died in North Lima after that controlled explosion. I think it was Monday night? So, that's it. It looks like it's on shock mounts or something, doesn't it? It looks like shock mounts. 4 shock mounts. It's bolted to the rail and then shock mounted. So what happens when a train goes by? If there's nothing, this thing won't go off. We got a train, another westbound coming. Nothing will go off. It should sound if something goes off. And I believe those are axle counters, since they're not, on the far you can see the rail, the two things. Since there's not on either side, there's nothing about checking for flat wheels, if that is such a thing, like I've heard. They didn't have anything like that when I was on. As moment it detects dragging equipment with that, or Hotbox detector, it'll make a radio call out of this box beside me and say, track 2, this is track 1, axle, number, and then if it's another axle, it'll say that also. Dragging equipment or hot box or hot bearing detected. Then the engineer is required to end the radio call by engine such and such, dragging equipment, axle so and so, out. And then get a hold of dispatch, said, hey, we're going to stop the train here because we got problems. Now, the trains were still too long when I was young, 20 some years ago, for the conductor to be walking the distance. So if I saw one, my maintainer's truck, sometimes I'd give those guys a ride and they could check out the train. Windows down, looking for an air leak or whatever was wrong. If the train goes by and everything's fine, then the radio will make a call. There's the tracks going down. 40 seconds of state law, we did 30 seconds. Everything was safer than what they asked for. So the train will go by here and the radio will call out, track 1, no defects, over. And then the engineer will answer back, Engine number, track 1, no defects, out. So there he is. So we got double stacks on there. And this is as we buried the signal lines to get rid of the pole lines, put in the cab signals, get rid of the wayside signals between the interlocking. The track people would dig under any bridges to make room for these double stacks. This was supposed to clear your highways of truck traffic. That was the idea back they came up with in the 90s. And there's like multiple times more trucks on the road now. So you can bet your sweet booty that they're going to be up in the safety around here. And if it takes fucking death and destruction, excuse the language, to get somebody off their ass to do something, then they failed to start with it a big time. Saving a buck ahead of time is costing them out the back end. Plus their reputation is shit now in this part. I live here, my son lives here, and I got a grandson due next month that these bastards put in their health in jeopardy here. A TV train. Well, we're gonna run this thing the whole damn length to show you how long these trains are. It's just ridiculous. So this is going uphill. There's probably a helper engine in the back. A wheel going out around, another one. Could be bearings or wheels. So I'll get set up with the scanner and everything. Comes the end of the train. And just like Pershing, there's a set of capacitors buried 2,800 feet out for that crossing. AC signal runs down the tracks, goes through the capacitor. As the train shorts out the tracks, the inductive reactance changes and tells how closely the train is to the crossing to drop the gates. And then all the gates between Lincoln and Pershing work off of Lincoln and Pershing, upstream, downstream, UAX, DAX systems or circuits. And there he goes. All right. So yeah, the next crossing to my street, and it was on fire when it by my house. And that's not the closest point to my house. The train heads out northeast, and it actually gets closer out there, which would be to the east or to the west or west-southwest of me. It comes to the closest point to my house, because that's South Ellsworth, I'm North Ellsworth, and this is South Lincoln. That's Chestnut Grove Road. This is Snyder Road we're parked on, and that's an old Pennzoil gas station there. All right. So I think I'm gonna turn around and go back into town. I was gonna come here first, but when I found out that I was from Salem, I was like, holy crap. So there's your old dragging detector blades. There's your units, and inside's just a switch. When it toggles one over the other, it makes a contact. Lets them know that, and those are new. And don't know about, let's just say the Hotbox detectors are hot bearing detectors now. The boxes were old trains that held, they had to put grease in there, and then when the boxes get empty, then they would heat up. The new ones are probably seal bearings, just like your cars are now. But it was on fire going by here. How about that? So there's got to be information off of this and Sebring back 10, I'd say 12 miles west of here, Sebring. That's the one I was most familiar with. I don't know if I can maybe Google Earth it and see if I can walk to it maybe tomorrow. All right, that's our video for today. Holy crap. Catastrophe was closer to home than I thought. I knew it went by here. Didn't know it was on fire. They reported it was on fire earlier, and I figured, well, maybe New Waterford or the other side of Palestine. Little did I know it went by my place and threatened my family. All right, over and out.